It's pretty exciting to think about where we're at today. After my 40 years of trial and tribulation and putting together a 100,000 piece puzzle to find out that's not how you do it. Imagine that, spending 40 years putting the puzzle together and thinking at the very last you put the last piece in and say, no, that's not how to do it. And now I get to share that secret of who you are today, so you don't have to spend the 40 years. Like, think about that. I'm saving you 40 years. Okay? 40 years. You can have that today. Everybody. So those listening for the future, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pick one of these people that's in this room, these individuals that took the risk and the unknown and the uncertainty that the ego is simply terrified of. It will do everything it can to stop you or slow you down, right, Josh? 100%. Got it? Okay? And that's how it does it. And so that when I'm talking to the Ella Marie, whoever is listening, to think of when I'm asking her the question, I picked Ella Marie, or I picked Tom, or I picked Josh. That's who represents me today. Okay? Now please, everybody in this room, know that I'm not going to be able to remember your name. Okay? I worked with 10 family members once and I had to get them to wear name tags so that I could remember. And I'm talking about my former wife, my daughter, my son, my grandchildren, my sister and brothers. Like, that's who was in the room. And it's like when I start talking, I don't know anybody's name, so don't take it personally, okay? Everybody got that? Everybody's hey you. Like, it's like when I'm talking to you, you just know I'm talking to you, okay? It's a different part of the brain, and I can't, you know? So anyway, what I want you to think about, you as the fortunate ones that are in this very room, and then the fortunate ones that are on live on the video in different parts of the world. And for you that's going to hear this at another time. Okay? What I want you to think about is the difficulty that you have and had in your life that you no longer need to have. And it's incredibly important to understand some key elements, and every one of you have looked at my virtual brochure, because that virtual brochure is to challenge you. Okay? It's to challenge you. I want you to be able to say, what? That's impossible. What? I never heard of that before. How does that take place? That's what it is. And for the ones that are here right now, on video and all over the world, later, is that it is possible. I'm going to explain some concepts. And Josh used one. Josh used one. You know, he was born premature. Okay? And all of his stuff after that happened from that. And everybody said, oh, well, I can't remember anything before 10 years of age. Well, let me tell you. Your 100 trillion cells know everything that's ever happened to you before even conception. It knows it. And then what happens is, we have something happen to us. It's like an emotional shock. And then we start building identities. Building identities. You know, I remember Jamie, when he was talking, I'll tell you how fast he made the decision, but I'll tell you what happened that he made the decision. I had called my first cousin Adrian, who used to be my middle name before I changed it to just D-O-N-N, Smith. And it was, I called him about his father and my uncle. And we were chatting, and he was doing this psychology stuff, and I said, Adrian, you already had an experience. Like, why are you doing a horse and cart thing when you're in a rocket ship? And then I said, are you going to keep that or do you want to change it? He said, well, I'm changing. So I had 40 minutes, and I nailed all his identities, and he had about 20 of them. And they just popped like, you know, those kids that they have these water fights and they put water in a balloon that's about the size of a baseball and then they throw it at each other? Well, it was like those identities, and they just went, pop, 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 pop. Oh my God! Now, it's hard to do that if you're holding on to it and want to keep that balloon. But I want to show you who you are. And I'll tell you who you are. You're who you are before the shock. And every once in a while, you have an experience. Okay? Some of you only may have 1. Some might have 3. Some have 5. Some have 10. And I'll describe what that is a little later. And that's who you are. See, the universe always finds a way to show you. Okay? It does. It finds a way. Now, I did everything. I had multiple addictions, multiple physical symptoms. Like, think about me. Like, I ballroom dance, I ski, I cycle, I boulder jog, I do all these things. And yet at one time, I remember lying in bed for 8 days, I couldn't move. I had to crawl to the bathroom. And I'd be like Tom, like in that shape, like at 25, just 8 years ago. And I literally couldn't move. And the medical said, listen, you got 3 deformed discs, we're going to have to operate. And the only reason why I didn't, I said, how come when I'm okay, which was 3 to 4 times a year, this back went out? Why, when it's not out, can I lift more weight than most people pour my own weight? Like, how can I do that? So I didn't. And then in 1982, I figured that out. And I haven't had twins since. The migraine headaches. Like on and on and on. I could go on with all of this. And that's those 100,000 piece puzzle. I put them all together from a personal experience. And so coming back to Jamie, like, it was like when I was talking to Adrian, I just popped everything. So the next morning I'm talking to Jamie in Cabo, and I'm saying, this is what I did. And he said, can I get back to you in an hour? Get back to me in an hour. He says, now this was on Friday. He said, I'll be in Vancouver on Sunday. Okay? Spending 16 years, and 200 grand on personal development, and still had his programs. And in 2 hours, it was gone. And he's right. It could have been 20 minutes, but I slowed it down for him. So he could experience and savor it. He came all the way from Cabo. I thought, well, I'll give him a little extra time. Sure that he knew he was getting his money's worth. For those of you that measure time. Because I'm going to challenge things like your time. Like, how long do you think this is going to take, this transformation? Like, if you didn't hear about this, like, how long do you think it would take? Anybody? Anybody? I can't hear you.
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
6 months.
6 months. Good luck on that one. Never. Never. Listen to that. Never. Awesome answer. Okay? And yet, like the stories, I could use all my time talking about stories. I will do a few only to get you to understand that the truth of this. So, YPO it's a young presence organization, and it's corporate executives, and they're all over the world. I think there's 10,000 or more now, or whatever, I don't know. But anyway, in 2008, one of the guys that was putting on the Canadian conference, the Canadian Young People's Conference, he had taken my program and said, oh my God, Donn, we've got to get you on the schedule here. Okay? I said, well, Brian, go for it, man. Anyway, he said, but it's all done, it's going to be illegal, we can't do it, we have to bring you in the back door, you know, because, you know, they have all these things. And anyway, he said, okay, Donn, I can bring you in from Vancouver, but how many do you need? And I said, Brian, like, if you could get me 6 people, it'd be really good for an exchange. You know, I don't want to mess around with 1 or 2. I can do that from, you know, my home. Anyway, he said, yeah, okay. So he put it out. We had a room. Ended up closing the door at 38. We had to stop people. 38 was the limit for that room. And so, anyway, I asked everybody a question, the 38. Here's what I asked them. How many in here have a phobia? Now everybody thinks about the common ones of snakes and heights and rats and ladders and I'm sorry?
Public speaking.
Public speaking. That's one of the biggies, by the way. That's one of the biggies. And I'm going to tell you, most business people have that. And that says everything about their identity. Just that one. I don't need to know anything else. If they told me that, I know what's going on. Okay? Anyway, so I asked the question. And it was set up like this, only the chair's here. And here they're all around the room. And all of a sudden, over here on my right, a lady starts bawling and crying. And I'm thinking, holy shit. I got 2 hours, I got 38 people, and someone's falling apart. What am I going to do? Everybody had their name tag on. I'm over. Maria, I need a volunteer. Okay? No, Lord, don't let him take me. I said, come on, you'll be safe with me. Okay? Brought her up in the chair. I didn't know a darn thing about her. Now, remember, I'm going to tell you, I don't deal with symptoms. I don't deal with symptoms. I don't care if you got 300. I literally don't care. You just tell me what they are. And this is a wonderful book for you to, on your own, find out what it might mean. Doesn't deal with it, but it'll help you have, oh, that's what's going on. Okay? Got that? Anyway, she sat in the chair. We started at 2 o'clock sharp. We were done at 10 to 3. 2:50. Now, she was, it's like a drowned rat ready to be stamped on. It's what she looked like and felt like. In 50 minutes, she said, oh my God, and she was like this. And she had 5 symptoms: chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel disorder, irritable stomach disorder, and a thyroid disorder. She had 5 phobias. Now, she had a lot more, but I kind of cut it down so it wouldn't be so long. But a phobia of heights, a phobia of flying, a phobia of driving, a phobia of her kids dying, a phobia of her husband dying. She had a lot more, but we'll stop there. Okay? All the phobias were gone. 50 minutes. How do I know? Her phobia of heights, very next morning, her name is Valeria, very next morning, her husband had signed them up to do a tactical thing of rappelling off the side of a 3-story building. And the guy said, who wants to be first? Valeria put up her hand, went over to the harness on, and rappelled over the side of the 3-story building. Not even 24 hours after, we worked together. Now, tell me, in your world, does that sound possible? No, it doesn't. Does it? Okay? And so, like somebody mentioned having an addiction in there, and I said, oh, just one? Like, so here's a guy who comes in, alcohol, drugs, food, gambling, and sex. Boom! They're all gone the first day. I golfed with them 2.5 years later. Still no trace of them. Seriously. I was in addictions. I spent 15 of those 40 years in AA. Okay? I worked in addictions for 8 years as a counselor in addictions. I'm talking about a guy having all 5 major addictions gone in the first day. Actually, it was an hour. But I'll stretch it. Okay? How's that possible? Because we're dealing with cause, not symptom. Cause, not symptom. And all of your symptoms have a cause. Every single one. Whether they're physical, mental, or emotional. Or spiritual. Notice I didn't say religious. Because that's part of the cause. Okay? Part of the symptom. Anyway, now. What this is about is getting it down to what it is that started. And when you look at all you do, when you think of phobia, has anybody in here got a phobia? What do you got there, Josh?
Heights is definitely one of them.
Perfectly. You say one, or do you have more?
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's say heights. Also, overthinking.
Yeah. You've aced that one. Took you a long time to get here, Josh.
Yeah.
You almost missed the second opportunity. Overthinking it.
Overthinking,
Yeah. This doesn't make sense. And so, the key about it is this. I'll ask each of you the question, because I know there's a ton of listeners with phobias. And the question is, like I said to Valeria, how long have you had this? Here's her answer now. It's been a while, so I'd have to look at it. It's either 36 years or 38 years. But let's just say it's a long time, okay? We'll go with 36. That she had all these phobias. Got it? We spent 50 minutes together. Found out 2 weeks later the physical ones were gone. So literally in 50 minutes all her phobias and all her physical symptoms were gone. 50 minutes. That she had for 38 years. That was 12 years ago, and they're still gone. Now, wonder if I was a psychiatrist or something, how much I'd have to charge an hour for that kind of a result. Think about that. Or the CEO that was a very close friend of mine had authorized a check that morning to be written for $1.2 billion. He authorized a check for the CFO to write a check for $1.2 billion to get out of the lawsuit. And there was 40 people in the room. All the executives, everybody on both sides, including the lawyers. 40 people. How do I know that? The COO told me. Who also became a friend. And he called me up and told me what was going on. And I said, how much time do we have to change this? So I got to be back in the meeting in 8 minutes, Donn. I said, no problem. Boom. 6 minutes later we were done, hung up the phone. I was playing golf with my son up in Furry Creek on the 3rd tee box. And hung up the phone, he went back into the room and says, we're not doing it that way, we're doing it this way. That 6-minute phone call saved him $615 million. Like, have you known speed like that before? But yet I'm telling you, you've lived in it before. Josh has lived in it before. The other Josh you just heard of. Something happened as a premature baby. How long did that take? Anybody have any idea how long that took? That shock. Anybody? I can't hear.
Minutes.
Who said what? Second. Minutes too long. Minutes too long, Tom.
Too long.
Yeah, way too long.
Way too long.
Okay? Way too long. See, if you go into more than a second, now your intellect kicks in. And now you're starting to think. This is not an intellectual process. This is a neurological process. Raise your hand if you've ever driven a vehicle. Wonderful. We have 8 out of 8. And I'm sure that you listeners on the computer here have raised your hand. I can't look at both at the same time. Very good. And would I be accurate that it had a key? Now, there's keyless and everything now, but let's pretend gone back for 10 years where you had to use a key to start your vehicle. Would everybody agree that that's true?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a key. The traditional model, when you have an issue, is to deal with the engine. Something wrong with the engine, not working right. It's not running right, it's, it's kicking or it's barking or it's just not either, whatever. Smoking, whatever. Now what that is the symptoms. And the medical system is doing a wonderful job dealing with symptoms. Now I'm talking about me showing you how to reprogram your key. Because you have 3 keys. This one here, this key, it turns on all your negative beliefs. I'm not good enough. Anybody in here not good enough? Can't hear you, can't see. Very good, I got a few on that one. Just all of you, yeah. Anybody over here? Yes, got it. Not good enough, not loved, non-deserving, not safe, right? Okay? Trapped. Many of those words fit you. Got it? That's this one. Now think about being in the dark. This is like a candle. Trying to grope your way around, trying to find your way out of here, trying to find, and you get out of one room and get back into another one. God, I was here before, how come I'm still back here? And you just go around in a circle. Oh, well, this looks, no, I thought that was not familiar, but it is familiar. I was in this room before too. This is the candle. All your negative beliefs. And then here's your positive beliefs. I am good enough. Look at me. Look at how successful I am. Can't you see the car I drive? Like, look at all of look at everything I own. Look at my beautiful home. Look at my beautiful wife or husband. Look at my kids. Look at my cat. Okay? That's the I am good enough. I am good enough. And this is the traditional model out there. Shifting from not good enough to good enough. Okay? Now this would be kind of like New York City lit up at night. Yeah, you can see a lot of places. There's a lot of darkness, but you can see it. And I liken this to, and I love using Jamie for this example. I don't know, I was almost going to apologize there for a sec, but no. So, this is like, I'm asking you to go to the sink and get me a drink of water, and I want you to use a strainer to do that. Raise your hand if you think you'd be successful at that. Anybody? No? Okay, good. Now this is where Jamie comes in. Jamie, very creative, very driven, the drivenness, like, yeah, give me the job, I'll make it happen. Okay? Now I know that one. I know that one. Now just break away for a sec. Now I was a plumber pipe fitter. Now I was really a pipe fitter because I love boiler rooms where you have all these pipes and you saw them all connected, and I was just able to see them all and just do that. My very first job was the Foothills Hospital Cancer Clinic. The Calgary Airport. That was my very first job. And just to give you an idea of this, so at that time it required, because it was pressure welding, it was a journeyman and a third year fitting for a welder. Everybody get that? Matt. Well, I, as a first year, had a journeyman working under me, a third year working under me, and I was fitting for 5 welders. Okay? Did everybody get that? So then, I get my ticket in record time. I'm 6 months in, and and my second job was the Foothills Hospital Cancer Clinic. And I'll just say one more thing because it fits in here. Then I was asked to go out to Banff to build the Banff Park Lodge. Always doing the boilers for these big projects. Now I got away from my wife and kids at that time for the week. And no one was counting my drinks anymore. I didn't have to explain anything when I was late coming home from the bar. And so my addiction to alcohol went from this to this in 2 years. Just dropped off the table. Okay? And then I had this major big blowout with my wife, mother of my children at the time. Mother of my children, my wife at the time. And what happened was, we got into this big row, screaming and yelling, not that anybody listening would ever have done that in a relationship. And all of those kind of things. And screaming and yelling at the kids when they get back up. They were 6 and 8 at the time. And the next morning I'm sitting at the kitchen table. I'm thinking, you know what? This world would be a lot better off if I'd gone something. I love what's even better. And I'm thinking, my neighbor has a shotgun in his garage. How am I going to get in? How am I going to get in that garage? Get that shotgun and get this over. And then the only thing that saved me was that out of the toxic Catholicism that I grew up in, hellfire damnation, was, okay, Donn, you're going to go to hell forever if you do that. I thought, God, okay, maybe there's a better way. Okay? And I chose not to commit suicide that way. And then I went into AA, and it started from there. And so, but dealing with that pain, but coming back to, good test, no? And coming back to this building, the project manager met me and said, Donn, I want you to come into the office. So I went into the office and there were 7 blueprints, about this high on the table. He said, Donn, there's a job on the corner of 7th and 7th in Calgary, 18-story high-rise, I want you to be the GF. We'll have 15 men on you and 3 sub-trades, and I want you to build it. And I'm thinking, are you out of your mind? Now I'm telling you this because this was my driver. It was also the major cause of my lower back pain. That drivenness. So here I am standing down the corner, 7th and 7th, and here's a big sign, plywood sign, like 2 4x8 sheets of plywood, with the picture of the building, and I'm saying, they're crazy. It ain't going to happen. There's no way I can do this. This is ridiculous. Didn't think so. Got it? Everybody there? 2 years later, almost done by hour and cost. Record time. Built that 18-story house. I'm standing on the roof. And I look around. I'm standing on what was a hole in the ground 2 years earlier. You know what I said? I'll tell you what I said. Oh, it was nothing. Anybody could do it. So here I am, driven to get this and this go taking me down. And that's the ego. And all the ego is who we're not. That's all it is. Who we're not. And it can start as early as in Josh's case, not this Josh, the other Josh. It might be, but not in this case. Born premature. Imagine that. Imagine this starting the day you were born. Now, of course, it can be a lot earlier than that, but just think about that. And just a phobia. You see, when I come back to the 38 people in the room, and I asked them all how many had a phobia, then I asked how long did they have it. And they would say 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, whatever. Wouldn't be that long because most of them weren't over 40. And then the next question. Is everybody ready for this question? How long did it take to create it? And what was your answer? Instant. What'd you say?
My answer was 1 minute.
We know that's not the right answer, right, Tom? Yeah, okay. In a second. And all that happened after that is a repeat. And it's like your grandmother with a ball of yarn, and she just starts with starts getting it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's what happens. But it's still the same ball of yarn for the same reason. And then guess what happens? Now you got this big one, and I can't even get it in the door. How am I going to get it? Now I'm going to have to get a bigger truck. I don't know where to store it, and this big ego just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Of who or not. And then everybody thinks that their ego is their enemy. It's not. You know what's not? Because you gave it the job. You gave it the job. You made a decision that you were going to allow your fear-based system to run you. And that's what happened. So all of these symptoms are from one single event, at one single time in your life, and it was instant. Now imagine finding that. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't matter if it's 20 miles thick, if it's got one cause. Would you agree with me? Is this hard to believe? Anybody, is this hard to believe?
No.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
And then whatever symptoms you use, whether they're addictions, my multiple addictions, my multiple symptoms, they're all caused from that. You know, I lost my wife and my daughter within 15 months of each other, both from cancer. And I swore that I would find a solution. Because there's some things going on with Rosie, my wife, that I'd love to, where I'm at now, have those answers, but I didn't. And there was some things going on with my beautiful daughter, Shelley, who, by the way, was buried 5 years ago today. Okay? And I'd love to have what I have now for her. But I didn't. But I swore I'd find it. Anyway, December 1st, Sunday, December 1st at 5 o'clock, I said, I'm going to offer my work to 10 people anywhere that from all over, it doesn't matter, to take them through the process that have life-threatening stage 3, stage 4 cancer, which I call the C word. And so on December 20th, 2019, I took 10 people from all over North America, one from Mexico, okay, through the process. And it was amazing, and it still is amazing, some of the results. Here's one that's crazy. Like it's hard, I find it hard to believe sometimes. Like, oh my God, it's amazing. Now here's I think she was 42 or 3 or something like that, and she had a 5 and a 9-year-old. And she had spine and forget what other, when we started, and then she found out after that she had 50 tumors in the brain. Anyway, she had not gone any farther for 3 months than upstairs to her bedroom and down to the kitchen. Upstairs to the bedroom, down to the kitchen for 3 months. That was it. And to the doctors. Got it? We worked together on Saturday afternoon. I worked with her one-on-one because we didn't think she'd make it till the next Friday, that she wouldn't have lived. So I just made a decision to work with her one-on-one. Sunday night, I got an email from her. Donn, now I'm going to use her words from being in the States. I just walked 3 miles and jogged up a hill. How's that possible? How's that possible? Do you know how that's possible? You are so effing powerful. You are that powerful when you're in this power. And you're this tiny little mouse when you're not. And the universe uses everything it can to make it painful for you to play small. Do you get that? And that's the aches and the pains and the whatevers. And now, like I just talked, and since last Thursday I talked to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those people that had the C word, and we're talking incurable. Okay? So here's some crazy stories. How to use your power, both in a positive way and a negative way. Okay? One person had rectum and prostate cancer, and had a 4.7 out of 5, and please, don't ask me to explain clinical anything. Okay? That's like trying to remember your name right now. Okay? Like it's just not in my repertoire. And it went from 4.7. Now, this is incurable. Incurable. Went from 4.7 to 4.3 to 3.7 to 2.8 to 2.2 to 1.7. And then it stopped. So last week I said, you did a damn good job going from 4.7 to 1.7. Curious as to why you stopped. Why would you stop? I said, no. No, you're not getting right down me. Okay? You tell me why you went from 4.7 to 1.7, which would be classified as a miracle. Okay? But of course I don't settle for miracles. Okay, there's more to it. I said, I want to know your reason for stopping at 1.7. And finally, after some prodding, he said, oh my God, I have a medical insurance. My wife and I don't have a very big income because of the cancer, and it pays for a lot of the bills. Well done. Well done, Harry. You did it, bud. Very good. You stopped at 1.7. You know what that's called to a farmer? It's called a governor. Every tractor has a governor. Okay? Most rental cars has a governor. And soon as he did that, then I did my magic with him. And you'd swear he was an archangel of some sort when you listen to his voice now. And that's less than a week ago. Now I could tell you all the other stories because I found out every one of them why they were holding on to some. Think about that. Think about that. Like last night, guy with a 5 and a 7-year-old boys. Okay? And When we started, his tumor in his colon was so big, they couldn't get the colonoscopy through to take a picture. It was that thick and big in his colon. And it took it down in 6 weeks to small enough that they were going to get 2 big needles to find out what was in there, and they only had to use 1 small one. And then last night I called him on his shit about why he stopped. He said, "I didn't stop." I said, "Yes, you did stop." And then I called him on it and showed him. And he said, "Oh my God, I know what it was. It was my way of getting attention so that I'd feel worthy." Now think about that as a logical reason. You want logic? Does that fit logic? Anybody? Is that logical? Please!
Nope.
No. And that's how the ego works. Here's what I'll tell you about the ego. You gave it a job to keep you safe, to keep your identity safe. To keep your identity safe. And the only way that identity knows how to keep you safe is find multiple ways to kill you. Everybody get that? So, I had 8 near-death experiences, 8, and then another 20 that weren't quite as serious, that I could have easily died but didn't. Like being in the middle of a tsunami in Thailand in 2004. Leaving the beach 20 minutes before the wave took the whole place where we were standing 20 minutes before that. Took all of the cabins, the hotel we were staying in, everything. We were up on the cliff. By the time I put my fist through 2 windows, one was the summer one, and it was up top, and my wife wouldn't get me a pack of cigarettes. I was still smoking at the time. And like I said in one of my little blurbs before, I didn't have anger. I didn't get a little angry. Didn't get a lot angry. I had a white rage anger, and I just hauled out, boom, like that, the window, cut all the tendons and nerves across here. The ambulance hadn't been a block and a half away, I wouldn't be here. Or rolling a truck at 120 miles an hour. 120 miles an hour. Skidded on the side and went like this for 3 telephone poles at 120 miles an hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers, you figure it out. Okay? And so, and get out with 2 other guys and one with a scratch. Not a cut, a scratch in his forehead. Think about that. And just so you know, the driver, a year earlier, his brother, and 2 of the others in that same school I was in, all died with a similar accident. All 3 of them got killed. So, like, electricity, 6,000 volts going by my both ears like this, separated by a post this size. Hit the post and spread like this. Do you think that's a possible close death? Would that range in close death experience? Would that fit in there? Okay? So we wouldn't use any more time on that. I'm just saying that I gave the ego the job to protect me, and that's how it did. Okay? And when I show you how to get rid of this, we'll have a phase called holding. No, it's not more money. No, it's not another letter. No, it's not another way to do it. It's holding what you have. You're going to have, you listen to me. You listen to this number. If you do what I want you to do today, you are going to have 100% of what you came here for. 100. And then some of you will give up 50% of it before we meet again. And that's the ego, trying to get back. And then there's the acceleration. And a few of you are almost already in the acceleration that have only taken my program a few weeks ago. Okay? And I've seen some in it that day one, and they just took off and never stopped. That Valeria, with all those symptoms, I never did another thing with her. That was 12 years ago. Kept it serious. Serious. And so, the whole idea behind this, and all I'm doing is just warming you up so that you kind of start like that, letting go of that grasp of that spider web that you got circled around you. With the Tina, with all of her intellectual understanding of what the thing to do with this particular problem. Okay? Right, Tina? Did I tell you I was going to pick on you today? I forget. I can't remember. Okay? So, so that's what I'm talking about. This is not an intellectual program. You're not going to go away thinking about what you have to do. You're going to have to do one thing. But think about this. Imagine this. I'm going to take this, I'm going to get 100% of the results, whether it's 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and I'm slowing it down just for everybody. Because I could ask 3 questions, we'll be done. We'd all be done with walk out in 10 minutes. Here's one. Okay? I just looked at these, like, here's one, okay? Because all I do is I just see something. Okay? Here's a word. Now, self-esteem. Anybody in here heard that word before?
Yeah.
Okay? How many have spent time in low self-esteem? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 8. Okay? That's not counting the cameraman. Okay? Anybody here heard tell of high self-esteem? Okay? Raise your hand if you've been in high self-esteem. Okay? Yes, you have at least once. You've allowed yourself at least once.
One time.
And they're flawed. Now let's come back to Jamie. So notice I don't go in a linear way. I don't do anything linear. Okay? So here's Jamie. Okay? This is the high self-esteem Jamie. The one that took every program on the planet, knows more about more programs than I've ever even heard of, let alone he's taken most of them. So let's go back to the strainer. Everybody, how many were able to get water for me using a strainer? Anybody? Okay, so now Jamie's very driven, very creative. Remember I said that about 20 minutes ago? Okay, so here's what Jamie did. And I've told him about how colorful it could be lighter, because I like color. Okay, and this outfit, by the way, is for you. Because this is a color that you're going to feel when we're finished. Purple and pinks and mauves. This is for you. Okay? So Jamie went to Staples print shop, and in that print shop they've got hot pink, lime green, all of these hot colors, sharp colors. And he used them to duct tape the strainer so it would hold more water. Okay? But then when he puts it down at night, guess what happens? It seeps out. So you go and take a self-esteem program. And you get to your high self-esteem. And the next morning, the next day, and the next week, all the water's gone. It's all gone. Now you have to come back and take another more advanced program. Of course, it's 3 times or 5 times the amount that you paid before. So I don't believe in self-esteem. I don't know. That's this. Okay? You know why? Does anybody have any idea why? I'll tell you that it's ego. Yes?
Because it's ego driven?
Well, it is all ego. It's externally referenced. It's external. It's external. Somebody's going to give you something. Oh! Sorry. It's a little sticky. Didn't go
Keep us on our toes.
Yeah, just paying attention.
And so, what I'm saying to you, both here and here, is we're trying to get from this state to this state. And I have an impeccable success record of breaking records of getting here very quickly, except in school. I never, ever, ever fit into the school system. Ever. Okay? Never. Never did homework, scribbled a bunch of stuff. I'd have 4 different subjects on one page. Like just nothing, like just, yeah, no. Math and science, give it to me and just, I love that. But anyway, so this is Jamie. He perfected the art of taping up the string. Okay, that's what he did. And yet, he knew. He intuitively knew it was flawed. And when he came, and I shifted into here, and he had all of the foundation. And all of the foundation, so it was easy. That's why I could have done an easy appointment. Like, he'd already given me everything just by a couple of conversations. Okay? But we had a wonderful, beautiful experience in the woods. Correct, Jamie? And so, remember, I'm looking for what? What am I looking for? Does anybody have any idea? Anybody? Are you listening? What am I looking for?
The cause. The cause.
The cause. Yeah, the cause. The one cause that created all of these identities. And I don't care if you have one black and one red, or 406 black and 308 red. Why? Why does that not matter? Anybody?
Because it's from the same cause.
Yeah, right on. Same cause. You're just very creative. That's all. Clear? Now, first of all, tell me how exciting this is.
Really exciting.
What?
That's good.
Yeah, just good. Like when you walk in with Tom, an hour ago, what you walk in with Tom an hour ago,
Yeah.
you will not be walking out with.
I'm excited.
It's exciting.
Let's go.
You betcha. That's what I like to hear. And that's right. 'Cause I remember once, I used to do corporate, I just worked with the corporate world and the pro athletes, NHL, NBA, NFL, Olympics, that. Okay?
Telling us to leave.
I'm sorry? No. And there was one group, I used to do them in groups of 4 to 6, these executives. And they come out from back east, and we're in the group, and I used to, I slowed it down, and anyway, at 1 o'clock on the first day, in the afternoon of the first day, they said, Donn, quit your bullshitting around. Like, let's get this back. I said, are you trying to tell me you'd like to lead the speed up? Is that what you just told me? They said, yeah, like, let's get her done. I said, okay, here we go. I made the decision on the spot, just boom. Now, I used to do it on the morning of the second day. But we did it in the afternoon of the first day. Okay? And the next morning, we're just about ready to have breakfast. I used to have a big place, a big chalet for this up in Whistler. I had a chef there for the meals and everything. So everybody ate together, and he said, James, Donn, I want to tell you something. I said, no, not listening. Wait till everybody sits down at the breakfast table. And so, sat down at the breakfast table. Said, yeah, I had 4 contracts that I've tried to secure, 2 for 6 months, 1 for 9 months, and 1 for a year. With no success. I secured all 4 in 40 minutes this morning, worth in excess of 250 million. And how's that for a result? Okay? Seriously. Seriously. You know, let's go back to pain. It's like pain. Just, like, these are crazy stories, but like, why I'm telling you is to give you an idea of how powerful you are as the being that you are. And don't dare give me credit for this. All I'm doing is showing you how to do it. You are the one that's doing this. Am I clear?
Yes.
So, one of the people that took the C word group was in the C word group on December 19th. He had an operation on Tuesday. A 10.5-hour operation. 10.5 hours. Okay? He had 3 tumors. They opened up his stomach wall, flipped the stomach out. There were the 3 tumors. And they told him this. They said, listen, at the best case scenario, you're going to be wearing a bag and you'll never have kids. That's the best case scenario. Okay? So they just opened them up. There they were sitting there. They slipped them off. And they said, what were the words? Best case scenario. That's what they used. These 2 specialists. They came together once a year to do these special things, and he fit. It was the best case scenario. Okay? On Thursday, at 8 o'clock p.m., his wife called me and said, Manuel's not doing very good, no. He's in so much pain that he is doubled over and he's throwing up from the pain. Is there anything you can do? Now, tell me, does that kind of a phone call make sense? Like a guy just had an operation, of course he's going to have pain. Would you agree? But I don't look at it that way. So when he called, we spent 10 minutes and I said, okay, Manuel, quit the bullshit. What are you doing with all this pain? Why are you doing this to yourself? No, I'm not interested in the operation. I said, why are you doing this? And I just figured it out, what was going on. Now listen to these numbers. Listen. At 8:20, he realized that he created the pain. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was 1,000. In 1 second, it was gone. He did that. Oh, is that powerful or not? What do you think?
Extremely powerful. That's crazy.
Yes. Are you getting the message? What's the message you're getting?
I am powerful.
You damn right you are, Tom. And don't you dare let me hear you say another word about it. Did you hear that, Tina? And you, Anna? Okay? How would you like to access this power, but not in a way that you're crippling yourself? Anybody in here interested? 1. Oh, got 2. Oh, we got 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay, wonderful. Because you know what I call those that are in that? You know what I call you? These 2 here already know what this is. You're a superhero. You are a superhero. Okay? You're a superhero of light. And you got superpowers. And you're wandering around like a wet duck. Wondering why the water wouldn't run off your feathers. Okay? You're this soaring, massive phoenix bird. Now, have I got you at least a little bit interested in the possibility of seeing how powerful you are? Raise your hand if I got you interested. Wonderful. Now there's only one thing we have to do. Has anybody got any idea? I can't hear you.
Let's get to it.
Well, this is the guy that delayed and delayed and delayed, and he's now saying, let's get to it. Very good, Josh. Well, fine. So all we have to do.
Identify the cause.
Yes, Tom! This one, next one! Yes, that's it. Recognize the cause. We're not dealing with your symptom. It takes 150 lifetimes. Okay? Because you know why it'll take that long? Because you'll keep coming back and doing it this next lifetime. And the next one until you get it right. Till you get it right. Till you see your magnificence. Okay? And